Thank you for that warm introduction, Pam. And this is actually the first time that I get to read with another Yahia. So that's a special occasion. I'm signaling from Florida. It is a strange time for everyone, as you all have indicated. And I hope these poems somehow address these times, even if obliquely. So my first one is a love letter to language, because words matter and their abuse in the private and public sphere is a serious matter. Words. Words are like days, coloring books or pickpockets, signposts or scratching posts, fakirs over hot coals. Certain words must be earned, just as emotions are suffered, before they can be uttered, clean as a kept promise. Words as witnesses, testifying their truths, squalid or rarefied, inevitable, irrefutable. But words must not carry more than they can. It's not good for their backs or their reputations. For whether they dance alone or with an invisible partner, every word is a cosmos, dissolving the inarticulate. So back to COVID and these strange days. This is not a COVID poem. These are all poems that have appeared in this Press 53 book previously. I have written COVID poetry, but I won't be reading that today. So this is sort of indirectly in this time of quarantine and cocooning, which one hopes will result in some kind of reflection and transformation. This poem somehow fits the mix for me. I hope you'll see the thread. It's called Dawning. There are hours when everything creaks, when chairs stretch their arms, tables their legs, and closets crack their backs incautiously. Fed up with the polite fantasy of having to stay in one place and stick to their stations. Humans too, at work or in love, know such aches and growing pains. When inner furnishings defiantly shift, as decisively and imperceptibly as a continent, something will give, croak, or come undone, so that everything else must be reconsidered. One restless dawn, unable to suppress the itch of wanderlust, with a heavy door left ajar, semi-deliberately, and a new light teasing in. Some piece of immobility will finally quit, suddenly nimble on wooden limbs, as fast as a horse fleeing the stable. That's the hope. Another poem, again, obliquely related to our current condition, where we find ourselves cooped up and as a result missing the great outdoors, missing the open air cathedral of nature and its majesty, and by association, the communion with people. So this one is called Oceanside Epiphany. And when I say oceanside, I mean from here, from my balcony, but I mean being there. Oceanside Epiphany. Stepping outside, it's not precisely sun we're after, or the illusion of perfect stillness, but something else that has to do with the distant riot of children at play. Staccato squeals accompanied by the cawing of crows, or the gentler song of slighter winged creatures circling above, frolicking or pecking at the earth, while the patter of water offers its liquid paean, and winds tease trees till they shudder with pleasure. This is the quiet pageant we long to be part of, setting aside our book or papers to vaguely register ourselves, easing into the pattern, our breath deepening, and our heart slow beating in unison with other things. And I have another. Have I read? I think I skipped one, sorry. Well, not sorry, here it is. So another strange occurrence among the lockdown and all the deprivations that accompany it has been this sort of eruption of protests, which, following the murder of George Floyd, has sparked the Black Lives Matter protests. And somehow this put me in the same frame of mind as our revolution in Egypt. So much so that even the slogan of no justice, no peace echoed very much what was happening throughout the Arab Spring and to a large extent what is happening throughout the Middle East now and Palestine. So with that in mind, and somehow to nod in that direction, here's a poem that I wrote for the Arab Spring, but maybe you can take out the countries and the specificity of the names and substitute other states within America where it would be applicable for the BLM protests. What is to give light? What is to give light must endure burning, a man once said. Another man became the matchstick that set a nation aflame. But fire and its appetite cannot be calculated, like freedom. Injustice and desperation make men combustible, like dry wood. When words lose their meaning and an entire people their voice, so they can neither laugh nor scream, death and life begin to taste the same. From Tunisia to Egypt, to Libya, to Yemen, the light from a burning man proved catching, and those with nothing to lose or offer but bodies fanned the embers of their hopes into a blazing dream. And with that, I will close with a slightly more personal poem. My birthday happens to be tomorrow, and turning 47, I find myself meditating on mortality. So here is a poem on just that. I probably think I'm the youngest person here, so forgive me for indulging myself. But a birthday is a birthday, and it's an occasion for reflection. The title of this poem is Gradual Escape. In the mirror, old age is peering through. My features grow distant, indistinct, blurring the iron bars of personality. I'm being hollowed out, I feel it, in the subtle droop of skin and will, like the life stuffing were slowly being spooned from me. My mind, too, is being emptied of needless concerns, such as who's in charge, traveling lighter, demanding less. One day, I'll finally slip out this loosening body bag, simply sling it over the shoulder of my sturdy spirit. I do see the timer here, so I have time for another one. I don't know that I'm going to do that the day of, but I'm going to try it. This is, again, another personal one. This is the poet in conversation with themselves. So perhaps something that, to some extent, you can all relate to. It's called Poet Try. Poet Try, set aside your imperiled existence, cowering before a heartless idea, prostrate before a hearthless ideal, spiritual asthmatic, straining for prophecy. Verse versatile, yet word weary. Continue picking the teeth of things, loosening meaning with words, amid writhing writing and growing pains. Trust in longing to sing itself, ushering you to the horizon of your hopes. Poet, try and endure your wisdom, gently mocking. Thank you very much.